Oh, hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. You are locked into the Power Hour on ReviveFM 94.0. This show is about community matters, diversity and inclusion, a platform for women, leadership, entrepreneurship, and inspirational stories. Welcome to the show. And I have a very special guest in the studio today. He's one of my friends, and his name is Mr. Bode Sharp. Very, very, very sharp indeed. And he is a transition coach and consultant. Welcome to the show, Bode.
Thank you for
Sorry
having
for
me.
the late start, my listeners, today. We would like to welcome you to the show and Bode to the show. Bode, would you mind just moving slightly over to your left for me? Because we have you on camera here. Yeah? On this side. So you're on video. Yeah?
Move to this side.
Slightly. Yeah.
Okay.
Right in front of the mic if you can. That's correct.
Like so.
That's it. So I can see you all lined up. So welcome. I know we've been discussing and speaking about you and I having a show for a while. For a long while. And what a year it's been. Crazy year it's been. So do you want to just give a shout out to the people? Very, very quick introduction about yourself and who you are.
Good evening, everybody that's listening and that's tuned in. My name is Bode Sharp. Thank you, first of all, for having me on the show today. Just shout out to anybody that's locked in right now. Shout out to all my family, all my friends, just everyone that knows me and everyone that supports me and shows me love the same way that I show them love.
I love it.
I like to keep it simple. And yeah, I mean, we can talk about what I do a bit later.
And actually, at the moment, everybody needs that love because I think, mental health for all of us has been really challenging.
It's crazy.
And it's just been a time of, I guess, unpredictability, really. It's been very unpredictable. We don't know what's going on from 1 minute to the next. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's mad.
And talking about 1 minute to the next, you've had a very interesting year.
Interesting is an understatement. Absolute understatement.
Yourself. I know that you went away and you had a very interesting thing that happened, didn't you? Because you couldn't get back in the country.
The way you said I went away, you're making it seem like I was riding a bird or something. Yes, I did go away.
Well, should I say you went on business? You was away on business.
Yeah, some people call it that as well, but no. Yeah, no, I was away. It was I don't know. Do you want me to just go straight into it?
No, we're just having a conversation. Yeah, just tell the listeners a little bit about what you went away and then what happened.
So in March this year, so maybe I can talk a bit about what I do now to allow the context to make sense.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm a business transformation coach. So I work with individuals and I work with companies and I help them to essentially transform what it is they're trying to achieve, whether it's financially, whether it's brand wise, or any kind of like personal goals, personal development goals. And so actually shout out to George, who actually took me to Gambia. So it's his company that actually took me to Gambia, and it was really supposed to be more of an exploration trip, just to go and check it out and see what's on the ground and see what kind of opportunities are there. And I've never been to Gambia and I've always wanted to go to Gambia. So it was like an opportunity that I just absolutely couldn't turn down. So we were supposed to be there just basically for 3 weeks, a couple of meetings set up. We'd hope to do a couple of social activities and a bit of sightseeing. And obviously nobody really knew like how this COVID sort of pandemic situation was going to just completely turn everything upside down. Because obviously like it was because I was actually in Japan earlier on this year, and we saw a few things that were happening, but it always felt like that's over there, that's not that's their problem. Like obviously, well,
it was all like, oh my gosh, have you heard what's happening in China? It was almost like that's in China and it's not really affecting us. And it's funny how could we possibly think that people are traveling the globe, but yet in a way we somehow, it was sort of like that's happening somewhere else.
Right. So I didn't sort of think that it would ever get as bad as it actually has now become. So anyway, like I said, I was in Rwanda this year earlier on. I was out there for a conference. Then I was in Japan on holiday, and then so Gambia was next, and we were supposed to be there for 3 weeks. So we was there on early March. Supposed to be back by the end of March. By the second week of March, the Gambian government had said, due to the COVID and the spread of the virus, the borders had to be closed down for 90 days. So it didn't really sink in when I first heard it, because it was just like, stuff like this doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? You might miss a flight, or, a flight might be cancelled, or there might be, I've never been in a hurricane, but I can imagine, like, if you've gone on holiday somewhere. I've got a friend who's in Mexico at the moment. And, if there was a hurricane, you expect that things are going to be upside down for a short while, and then you sort of start to make your way back home. But this was completely different. It was just like, lockdown, 90 days, pull up a chair, make a cuppa, and just relax is what they were expecting.
Yeah, I've been in Jamaica for an extra week, but then that was like, wow, we get to stay in Jamaica for an extra week, but them telling me it was 90 days, I think that would change the context of how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Then again, maybe not Jamaica.
Yeah, no, because it makes you really think, like, imagine, like, obviously when you go on holiday or you go somewhere with an expectation to come back, you don't think that you're going to be prevented from coming back.
Yes.
That's completely different.
Yes. It's completely different.
Completely different. So it took a while to sink in, but in my mind, I just thought, nah, this can't be true. Like, something's gonna pattern up, and then we'll be back in UK in no time. And it just never happened. There were these flights that were going out, that I think the British Embassy had organised some chartered flights, but the first one was full.
Yeah.
And then the second one didn't come for ages. And then that got cancelled because they didn't have enough people in the country who wanted to take the flight, because they said there needed to be a certain quota for people who wanted to come back home. So essentially, just there's no way back home. Just to skip a bit, towards like August, September, it became apparent that there was a way where you could get into Senegal and then go from Senegal to the UK. So, but by that time, I was kind of like already 6 months in. I was already 6 months in, and I was kind of settled, and I'd set up a couple of things, and I was actually quite busy doing some bits and pieces. And I already said to myself, well, it's not like I'm rushing to go home now, because I've been here for 6 months now. So it's literally, as soon as I finish what I'm doing, then I'll just come back.
So how did it make you feel? Like, did you feel when you realized that the process of time had gone by, you had commitments in the UK, you had business, family and friends, did you have any moments of panic at any point any moments of the anxiety where you had to really rely on your own resilience?
Panic wouldn't be the word I'd use to describe it. It was just like, I'm a very pragmatic person. So I look at things for what they are.
Yes.
And, I'm not the type of person to cry over spilt milk.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I recognize that, okay, this isn't a great situation. There isn't anything I can do about it. So I've just got to sort of almost like, okay, what's the next step? What can I do next? Or, what do I do next? So I'm always focusing, because I'm a problem solver.
Right.
So I'm always focusing on the solution. Like, what is the solution to this problem? And there was no way it could be fixed.
Keep hold of that. Keep hold of that solution. We're going to go into a commercial break.
All right.
Hold on to the solution. We'll be right back. Do not touch that dial. We'll be right back with you.
Turkish Kitchen, the best Turkish food you'll ever taste. We only use the highest quality meat. Along with our mixed grill platters, we serve cold mezes, hot mezes, lahmacun, and a wide selection of fish options. To order for delivery or collection, call us now on 0208 507 8822. That's 0208 507 8822. Or visit us at 41 Ripple Road, Barking, IG11 7NT. We can also take group bookings and take care of all your party needs. The Turkish kitchen barking.
London is now in Tier 2 and on high alert. To help stop the spread of coronavirus, households must not mix indoors. Only meet people outdoors in groups of up to 6. You must work from home if possible and reduce the number of journeys you make. For further details, go to gov.uk/coronavirus. Stay alert. Control the virus. Save lives.
Did you know that girls like Noura walk an average of 3 miles every day in search of clean water to support their families? Minhaj Welfare Foundation believes you can end the water crisis by building small and large-scale water projects. Your charity is helping improve the lives of communities living in the poorest regions of the world. However, more needs to be done. Support Water for All. Donate today. Call us now, 0300 30 30 777, or visit us on minhajwelfare.org.
Nikah, talaq, counseling on matrimonial disputes, Islamic wills, Islamic law of inheritance, or an Islamic verdict on any other issue. The Muslim Sharia Council is at your service. We provide official certification, and our experienced and highly qualified imams are available to provide you with guidance when needed. MQI London is based at 292 to 296 Romford Road, Forest Gate. We are open from Monday to Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. or alternatively, call us now on 0208 257 1786.
Businesses. Time is running out. From the 1st of January next year, if you do business with Europe, you're going to have to follow new rules. So there are definite actions we all need to take now. More to do, I know, but it's work that won't be wasted. It needs doing no matter what. And we haven't got long. Less than 3 months and counting. Check what your business needs to do now at gov.uk/transition. Check, change, go.
Amigos, the signature name when it comes to burgers and shakes. Our succulent burgers are prepared in front of you while you wait. Whether you go for our 6-ounce Mexican or our 10-ounce Texan, or you decide to go for our messy fries or our buffalo wings, one thing you're guaranteed is quality. Dine in with your friends and family at 400 Cranbrook Road, Gants Hill, or order in on Uber Eats, Just Eat or Deliveroo. Amigos, hats off to great burgers.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. Advertise with Revive FM.
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Power Hour with your host today, myself, Louise Power. This show is about community matters, diversity and inclusion, a platform for women, leadership and entrepreneurship. And in the studio today, just to remind you, I have Mr. Bode Sharp. He is a transition coach and consultant. And we are live. And if I can ask you, Mr. Sharp, to move slightly to your left.
Slightly to my left, like this?
And with the chair. That's it. So we can see you. We can see your face. We couldn't see your face before.
My bad.
So before the break, we were speaking about Bode's. We was talking about the unpredictability of what is going on at the moment in our environment in COVID times. It's not easy for us to know what's happening. And then ironically, Bode actually got stuck whilst he was away on business matters in Gambia. So he's been telling us all about what that experience was like and how he was able to kind of overcome that 6-month period being in a foreign country when, of course, he had only planned to be there for 3 weeks. So back to the conversation. Welcome back, Bode.
Thank you for having me again and not kicking me out during the break.
I'll do it next break. Kick you out in the next break.
No, I'm staying now.
So you were telling us, I asked you, did you have any panic? And you were saying, actually, no, I'm quite pragmatic. I'm quite grounded. I realize that these things are out of my control. If there was 3 things, right, that you took away, that 3 takeaways from the situation, expecting to be away for 3 weeks. And in fact, you're there for 6 months.
So obviously, I think, this experience has made me realize that you always have to be ready for, just you have to expect the unexpected. Like you just have to just have this way about you where you realize anything can happen anytime. And I mean, and it truly can, and it truly has, not just to me, but just to the whole world. And who knows what's coming around the corner. So like, that's one big takeaway for me. Like now, it's funny because when you go through certain things or challenging things, that usually makes you stronger. So when you go through those, should you go through those things again, then you're kind of more prepared for it. You're like, oh, this is light work. I've had worse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that was like one big takeaway for me.
Yeah.
The second thing I would say, giving you a bit of a shout out, the power of the pivot. Like when I was out there, it was weird because it felt like I could have just been on holiday,
Right.
but I couldn't get into holiday mode because I was trying to figure out, like, how do I sort of maintain my composure and manage like my affairs back home in the UK, and how do I sort of like make the best.
Can I ask a question then? Did you feel like it was too much of a serious situation to be relaxed, but yet you're in a hot country and you're kind of there to relax, but yet this is a global situation that's quite serious? So you was having to kind of like, I've got to remember why I can't actually go home, like sort of thing.
So, I mean, the thing is, I couldn't even, well, first of all, the clubs, bars, all social activities were on lockdown anyway. So I couldn't have done anything anyway.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything. So it was just really more kind of like going inwards and just really trying to understand, okay, maybe, there's a lesson in it. Maybe the universe is trying to show me something, expose me to Gambia and just put me in this place for a particular period with a particular purpose in mind. And I would say the more I started to think about that, the more it felt like, okay, maybe this is what it is. And I must say, I've, as a Nigerian, even though I was in Gambia, I'm still an African, so I can relate to the lifestyle and the culture. And I just fell in love with Africa again.
Yeah.
Like I just thought, wow, like the last time I was in Nigeria, although I go to different parts of Africa, the last time I was in Africa was in 2016. And I just thought, wow, this is actually an amazing country / continent to be in. And then I'm learning about the Gambian culture, seeing the lifestyle, see how they do things there. And there were so many amazing takeaways in terms of how they do things there. And I just fell in love with Africa. And I just said, you know what? Maybe it's time to start thinking about, doing more things in Africa. I mean, I am African after all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so when I say the power of the pivot, it's just basically just understanding that no matter what situation you're in, there's always an alternative, or there's always a way to handle that situation.
Love it.
And so I straight away went into, like I said to you earlier on, I'm a problem solver. So I just thought to myself, okay, so I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm creative. How do I use my skill set and maybe set up shop or look for opportunities here? So I was introduced to a couple of people, and then I did a bit of networking. I went to a couple of events, and I started just basically doing what I do in the UK in Gambia.
Right.
And then, I found a couple of people who had businesses and they wanted somebody to, coach and consult with. So I started to pick up a couple of clients who I was coaching. Then there was a corporation called the OIC.
Yeah.
And they are an Islamic organization. And they have a really big event happening in 2022. And so, I got friendly with one of the guys there, and, basically, he organized for me to do some marketing and advertising and doing some voiceovers. So if you go to Gambia now, like my voice is all over the radio, basically. So I've definitely made my presence felt. You know, even people that I'd gotten to know and make friends with, they text me all the time, say, "Oh, I just heard you on the radio," and they say things like, "Oh, it feels like you're still here."
Yeah. So Bode on radio and Gambian FM dial might be something we hear about in the future then.
Exactly. You never know. You never know. So so the power of the pivot. So I just figured out how to make things happen the same way I would do probably anyway now.
Yeah.
I realized that basically, you know, whatever skill sets you have, you can pretty much use them anywhere, but you just obviously have to adapt according to that environment. And
if you have like a business model, for example, and or a solid strategy, given the fact that you're not in the same given country, actually thinking about it, we can take that and look at the environment that we're in and adapt and adopt it integrally into the woven part of whatever society where we might be. So, and I think I really concur with that. Because I feel like if you integrally, if you have something set up, you know, it might be a slightly different product or way of selling your services. But actually, once you have the demand, you should be able to carry that through more or less wherever you are. But of course, it does depend on the economy. But if you have something, you know, business model, you should be able to take that with you.
Yeah. So like whether you're a nurse or whether you're an accountant or whether you're a lawyer or whether, you know, you're like a coach or, you know, whatever it is that you do, there will always be an opportunity. There will always be an angle for you to be able to sort of figure out a way to, you know, capitalize on that situation. And that's what I did. And so I actually ended up setting up a company. So shout out to Fally. I ended up setting up a company out there doing branding and communication. So we're kind of doing some bits and pieces out there. So yeah, power of the pivot is number 2. And the third one, I mean, there's quite a few things that I would say that I experienced and took away from why being there. But one that I thought might be quite useful to share with the listeners is when I came back. So while I was out there, I was living out of 2 suitcases basically for 7 months. So I was rotating 2 suitcases.
I was going to say, you're not going anywhere anyway. You could just rotate in shorts and t-shirts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was rotating pretty much in the same clothes. Although I did pick up a couple of like some native outfits and stuff.
I like that top, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I got this from my friend Eddie. Shout out to Eddie. Him and his daughter.
I love it.
Daughters and
King. What does it say at the bottom?
It says first. Just says first.
Love it. It's like a stamp, isn't it?
Yeah. The website is it's me. HeyIt'sMe.com.
Yeah. I need to look up Hey It's Me, see if I can get myself a. So you were saying you came back?
Yes, I came back, and when I got to my place, I noticed that I had so many things. I had so many clothes. I had so many belongings. I'm thinking, do I really need all of this stuff? And I just thought, nah. So I literally started to put stuff in boxes and just started to get rid of everything. And now I'm moving towards this kind of like minimalist lifestyle. And it's not an easy it's not an easy sort of transition to make if you're used to having your bits and pieces. But I just felt like I don't need all this stuff. And so I think the third takeaway for me was just live simple.
Yeah.
Just live your life simple and just focus on what's important. Because when I was out there, the things that kept me going were the conversations I was having with my friends and family and everyone in the UK. And, you know, and you can kind of almost like feel the love from a distance, but through conversations and people checking in and me checking in on people. And then really, to me, that's all that really matters, you know. And I think this is what the COVID has taught us as well. Like, you know, just having connections with people is all that matters.
Bods, all I can say to you is, Bode told me that he was stuck in Gambia. And when he told me, well, naturally, I just thought, you know, you'll be there for a week or 2.
Yeah.
And then we reconnected, I think through a text message. Bode's still there.
Yeah.
The next one was a phone call. I think if I remember right, he was on the phone for a good hour. Bode was still there. And then you were just still there. And I was like, Could not believe it.
Crazy.
And it got to a point where I was having conversations and saying to people, my friend's stuck in Gambia.
Mm.
It became a thing now, right? Because it's like, you're over there, but I've got so much admiration for you because I think the way that you handled it, was really, really cool, really chilled. And I think that says something about your character, because not only did you have to handle the fact that we're in COVID times, you also had to see through the fact that your own personal kind of lifestyle had been moved around and jarred. But being the character that you are, you was able to see that you could create opportunity out of adversity. And that's something that I speak about very frequently. Out of my own adversity, I was able to create my own opportunity and set of circumstances to try to better the position where I was. And I think that being able to go there, start a business, create a network, I've seen you doing your thing. I've seen, you've also been an ambassador for other people's businesses. And now in the UK, we know about businesses in Gambia, actually, that we'd never heard of before, had Bode not taken that trip. So I think that there's definitely something here, guys, about as an entrepreneur and as a business professional myself, diversification. We look at what we've got and make the best out of it and see how can we diversify those edifying kind of bits, or how can we diversify what we have to make the best of. And I know you, Buds, like if it was a case of you was there longer, you'd probably be like having a job on the beachfront in a bar, so we just do the best with what we've got.
Can I just add something to that as
sure.
well? So the thing as well is it wasn't a hostile environment as well. So you got to remember that there was a lot of things that also made that experience, an easier one. It's the weather there is amazing, hot, baking hot. I mean, you can just put your dough and tomato and cheese and just put it on the balcony, and it will just it was baking hot. I was so dark for the first. It was only towards the last sort of like 4 weeks, I was indoors more because it was like raining season. So it wasn't as hot. It was so hot. And the people are amazing. The food is amazing. The energy of the people is amazing. So all of those things actually helped.
Okay.
If it was a hostile environment, then, it might be a different story. I might be telling you. Do you know what I mean?
Well, let's put it out there, because it's something that we could do. We could come back and have you back and have other guests on that were stuck in different places.
Right.
So let's do a shout out. If there's anybody that's listening or listens to the show afterwards via social media, whether it be Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify, TuneIn, however it is that you listen to us, get back to us and tell us your story. Have you been stuck anywhere during the COVID period? And what was the experience like for you? Because I'd really like to see, how it all plays out. But it was in Gambia. And I think you had a positive experience. But
I did.
I'm sure there's some people that have been stuck in other places where actually they've had a completely different experience. And with that, I'd like to go on and speak to you. Obviously, actually, can you just summarize those 3 points for me again?
So first of all, just always expect
the unexpected.
The unexpected. They say, if you're always ready, then you never need to get ready. Do you know what I mean? You're ready. So
expecting the unexpected.
Yeah, and that is like just making sure you handle all your affairs. Whether it's your bills, your finances. Make sure that you're quite liquid, because you just don't know what's going to happen and when.
Yeah,
and things like insurance, and just making sure that you're set up in such a way where if anything was to happen now, you're set up for that kind of like disaster recovery. And then number 2, I think, was
pivot.
Power pivot. Like in any situation, they what's that famous saying? When life gives you lemons,
make lemonade.
Make lemonade.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I do that when I'm doing some of my workshops. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and then the last one, just live simple.
Yeah.
Because when you live simple, everything is just easy.
Yeah. Life
becomes easy. And I think that's I think one of the probably bigger takeaways I had from there, because everything was just so simple, because it is what it is. I can't go home yet. So just, like I said, just pull up a chair, make a cup of tea, and just do what you have to do until you can go back home. And it's just a simple concept. It might be easier said than done for others.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't have children. So if I'd had children, I mean, someone who's got children, this would have been a nightmare. As a matter of fact, I've got a friend or somebody that I had met and become friends with, and she had I think a 1-year-old child in Jamaica, and she was in Gambia. I can't remember the full story, whether she was supposed to have been there for a week or 2 weeks, but she was separated. She'd been separated from her child for almost 6 months.
I would have been pulling my hair out.
Of course. But again, every time I met up with her, because we're actually doing some work together as well, she was always very calm and she was always in a good place. But there was times where it was difficult.
Yes.
But there's nothing you can do.
No, it's out of your control. And know that as long as you know your children are safe.
Yes, exactly. And as a mother, you're always going to worry. So, but you just, again, you've just got to sort of just be pragmatic. And because what happens is when you stress, then you add to the actual worry.
Yeah.
So it's bad enough that you're not with your child, but now you're stressed and now your hair's falling out or you're growing gray hairs, or do you know what I mean? So it's important.
I say that I'd be stressed, but I might be cartwheeling on the beach, because I tell you what, I've been wanting a break for a while now. This year's been so heavy. So had I been stuck in Gambia, actually, maybe I wouldn't have. I might have actually been in cartwheels on the beach, doing things that I love, like skipping and watching the sunsets, enjoying the food, and taking a moment like you did, just to breathe and be like.
Yeah, I did that a lot. Every Sunday I'd go onto the beach. And the thing is that, the beaches, I mean, where we were staying, initially we didn't stay in such a great accommodation, but then as we moved we stayed in 3 places, and the third place was beautiful.
Yeah.
There was beach.
You got to
everywhere.
chill out. I'm conscious of the time.
Yeah.
So what I'd really like to do now is to talk about the reason that I'd like to speak about now is about kind of like your coaching side. Because I think that as part of what your genius is what you do there.
Yeah.
And I think that those are some of the things that really must have helped you
big time.
The strategies that you put in place as a coach. So I'd really like to spend, the last part of the show speaking about what Bode Sharp does as a coach, as a consultant, what you do for other people, and how in turn, that must have helped you in the process.
So I think it goes to the last takeaway, like simplify. Like my strapline is making complex simple, and it's again, I can empathize and say that it's easier said than done, but that is really the solution. Like you just have to strip away anxiety, stress, fear, fear of the unknown, worry, and just focus, and go to core of whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
And when you do that, then you start sort of building in the right direction, and you start to feel more comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's what this is ultimately about.
Yeah.
Most of my clients are trying to achieve something, or they're trying to stop something happening. They want to be more comfortable because, they're maybe not making enough money, or their clients are constantly stressing them out, or, they can't seem to figure out how to build a structure to what it is that they're trying to build. So my job is really to come in and understand the heart, the core of what it is they're trying to achieve, and help them strip away the barriers that are in the way of them doing that. And that helps them to sort of actually understand their pathway. Because you have 5 people trying to do exactly the same thing, but their pathways don't necessarily or are not necessarily the same. So, everyone's got to find the pathway for them.
Right.
And as a coach, I use a combination of coaching and consulting. So I use the coaching to help them pull out what makes sense for them. And I use the consulting side to help them to build the structure for them to, develop or, achieve whatever goal or objective that they have.
I like that. I like the way that you say that you pull out from them with the coaching, because I think what I love about coaching is it's all the stuff we already know, but actually, how do we need somebody, we need to talk that through with somebody, and we need a little bit of support around that and a little bit of direction. So that's where we really need the coaching side, because that person ultimately is coaching you and cheering you on and cheerleading you on with what you have.
Yep.
But yet you still need expertise. And that's when the consultancy comes in, because it's like, hey, I've created this and I've found out the beauty of what it is that I need, that I want. But with consultancy, now I need to know how to do it.
Best practice. What's the best way to do this?
What's the best way to do this? Absolutely love the strategies. I know that, you know, even you and I, we've had some time together. And yeah, I think that, you know, the strategy of how you go through the process with people is quite unique. And the way that you're able to fundamentally put those two things together. So when you come across, you know, when people have sort of said to you, whatever it is that their bugbears are, and you find out, right, these are my barriers, you know, I can't get more clients, or like, you know, what are some of the things that I can do? How do you spend time with them? Do you spend time face to face? Well, I'm presuming it's virtual now.
Pretty much,
because you've had to diversify that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So do you set up strategies? You have a call once a week. You have a call on a daily basis. How does it kind of work?
It varies from client to client, and I try to not make it too rigid. So I try to be as flexible as possible. What I like to do more so, what I'm realizing coaching really is the ability to be able to be an observer from the outside looking in. Because when you're in something, how you see that situation is usually going to be different to the outsider looking in.
Right.
So it's like, say somebody could be in a high level state of anxiety or stress, and it's how do you use the right level of empathy to reach your hand out and let your client know that you know, there's a bridge here, and if you hold my hand, I'll walk you over this bridge and get you to the other side. Right. And the expertise really is in the ability to ask really good questions. When you ask great questions, things come out. Like, I can't, if I could get £1 for every time somebody said to me, oh my God, I never looked at it that way, or nobody's ever asked me that question, I'd be a billionaire, literally. Like, people always say that because I'm quite a curious person, so I'm always asking questions. And so for me, it's when you ask good questions, you have great conversations, and those conversations, everything just pours out from there. Just pours out from there. And so that's my technique, really.
And is that the strategies that we spoke about? Because we spoke about the strategies that you have for yourself and for others. Was this the strategies that you kind of put in place as part of your coaching?
Yeah. So the thing about me, I'm also quite creative. So if somebody's trying to do something, say, I don't know, there's a tea company that I work with in Gambia, and you know, we had several meetings and several catch-ups. I'm actually working with them officially now, and it's just, you know, using a combination of, you know, coaching, consulting, but also creative ideas. I came up with a lot of really, really cool ideas that have now, you know, been put in place. And there's some others as well that we haven't even done yet. And so that maybe might be my unique selling point, you know, that I'm not just a consultant and a coach, but I'm also creative.
Yeah.
So I can help you to figure out what the best solution is for you. But then on top of that, I can also help you, you know, get creative with you to come up with, you know, extensions to the solutions or additions to the solutions.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I think all of us that have got this creativity or being able to have resilience and apply these things have also come from a place. Yeah. So I would like to spend the next couple of minutes just talking about your place, your backstory, maybe even before the coaching. What was it that inspired Bode Sharp to become a coach in the first place? Where was you in your life or in your career? Tell us a little bit of backstory. I know that we don't have much time.
Yeah.
But it'll be really interesting to hear that.
So from a very young age, so I think as far back as maybe about 10 or no, maybe not 10, maybe about 12 or 13. I remember just always being super, super inquisitive. And in that inquisitiveness or curiosity, conversations would happen. I remember I used to have these birthday parties where I'd get like all my friends, and it would be a mixture of guys and girls. And then we'd come and I would say something, and then before you know it, massive debate. 10 years old, we're all talking about whatever it is. And I'm just thinking, I'm really good at this, aren't I?
Okay.
And I think that's kind of like what sparked the interest in becoming a coach. But to be honest with you, I didn't realize that I had a kind of like coach in me until much, much, much later in life. I went to this event and I met this business. She was actually a coach herself.
I was going to say, I could have told you that because you've always been a people's person, so no surprise to me.
Yeah. So no, but in terms of like, I wasn't, because I've had my hand in a few things. I used to do music.
Yeah.
I used to do IT, and I used to do project management. So I've done a few different things. And it was around the time when I was first getting into, when I was crossing over from IT into project management, that I went to this, networking event, and I met this business coach, and, I was just talking, she was coaching me basically, like how some coaches will coach you just to try and, find out a bit about you and give you something back as a gift to you.
Yeah.
And she just said, why don't you become a coach?
Yeah.
You've got it. And I was like, wow. I didn't think of that. And that was literally that moment. But what had sparked that moment was the fact that I like to talk and have great conversations.
Yeah.
That's what really warms my heart. Just having a good conversation with someone who's, who will entertain.
And that you do well. Because
Yes.
sometimes we can chat for England, as they say.
I'm telling you.
Me and you will be.
Well, you can talk.
Yeah, and
you can talk for Europe. That's why you're a radio host.
That's it. And we talk about interesting stuff. We talk about the betterment of ourselves when we have a conversation, and we talk about the betterment of other people.
Yep.
And I think we're inclined in that way. We're always thinking about how to better ourselves, but also thinking about how we can help and support and benefit others. So we're very much entrepreneurs, but we're very much social entrepreneurs because we are about the commune. So what does the future look like for Bode Sharp? Coaching, consultancy, creativity, Gambia, tea, going forward, taking flights?
Well, the first thing, one of the things that has confused me is this notion of master, what is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. I've never been interested in just mastering one thing.
Yeah.
Because my background is so diverse that I've always had one hand. Even once I've gone to the new thing, I've still got a hand in the old thing.
Yes.
And so next year I really want to embrace my jack of all tradeness, basically.
Yeah.
And I've decided that I'm going to be showcasing my philosophy on being a jack of all trades, but then doing it well. Because apparently the rumor has it, it used to be jack of all trades, master of all.
Right.
But the powers be, or the society, the 1% don't want you to think like that. They don't.
Because I always say jack of all trades, master of many.
Right. There you go. And if you think about it, like if you're a mother or father, if you've got bills to pay, if you've got a book holidays, you actually master doing lots of things very well.
Yeah.
But you don't really get the credit for it.
Exactly.
So
we're coming to the end now because we finished just before 5 because we're going to play some. It goes into the ads and then it goes into the news.
All right.
But I just wanted to summarize today because I think it's been awesome. I think we've had some great takeaways. We spoke about your time in Gambia.
Yeah.
Completely, unequivocally unexpected. And it'll be really interesting to hear from other people who may have had the similar experiences.
Definitely.
Absolutely loved your 3 takeaways. You spoke about expecting the unexpected.
Yeah.
You spoke about the power of pivot, and you spoke about keeping things simple. And I will definitely be using that and going back to that myself.
Yeah.
And then, we rounded up and we spoke about, just some of those contingencies and strategies that you've put in place in terms of coaching. And I'd like to say that knowing you definitely are a master of many. I'm not
sure if that's a compliment.
it's a compliment.
All right,
and it's to say that in context of this jack of all trades thing, I think that people are gifted and they're creative, and for some of us we're put on this earth to do more than one thing.
Definitely.
So I'd like to say thank you
for having me. This has been amazing.
And it won't
I want to come
last.
back.
Of course, you can come back.
What do I have to do to come back?
Oh, well, I'll have to see you to go through all of how many other celebrities have got signed up. But you can come back.
Yeah, I'd love to come back, and I'd love to sort of come back, but have people call up or something so that we can have conversations and see. Because I'm sure other people have got questions.
Yes,
as well.
of course. And we'll come back and we'll put some stuff to it, and we'll get busy on social media beforehand so people can call in.
Yeah.
I think everybody's out doing Christmas shopping because we do get call-ins.
Oh, really?
But no one's called in today.
Okay.
Thank you very much for listening. You have been locked into the Power Hour on Revive FM with Louise Power. Please do not touch that dial because we'll be coming up with the news and for the next presenter. We'll be back again next week at the same time, same place. Stay safe during this period. Goodbye.